Hello class and welcome to this Darkwing Duck NES walkthrough right here on Video Games 101 by way of Let's Play with Brigands. We are the terror that flaps in the night, the winged scourge that pecks at your nightmares. Get used to Darkwing Duck shouting out his name, self-identifying himself over and over again, every time you die. Speaking of every time you die, I'm going to give Darkwing Duck a 5 out of 10 on the frustration scale. This equates to throwing your controller across the room, maybe because you dropped off of something you were hanging onto accidentally, prematurely. Maybe one of the boss was giving you fits, but fear not. We've got the best boss beater, Professor TA in the business in Gary. We've got Fluff with a bunch of interesting facts about this game. Blaze has your weapon and item guide, and I'm going to walk you through this one. So let's run the intro and get into this Darkwing Duck NES walkthrough right here on Video Games 101. Alright, as we start a new game here, we get some context as to what's going on. A crime syndicate has swept over the city. F.O.W.L. We have to put an end to their fiendish plans. Launchpad's gonna brief us. Launchpad is actually capable in this game. Good luck, Darkwing. I'll be in my my office drinking cocoa. So we're just gonna move left to right and start with the bridge here and take on Quacker Jack. Kind of similar to DuckTales in that we have the level selection here at the start in a few ways, but we'll talk about that as we take a look at the controls for Darkwing Duck and he shouts his name. You can hold up to shield yourself from projectiles and down to duck. As we take a look at the Briggs notes, keep and use the arrow gas. The Blaze will talk about that. Know where the bonus stages are, we'll show you. And as I mentioned in the intro, Gary has your boss beaters. So in this first stage, you just kind of get the hang of the game, the basic mechanics. No pun intended, as we were literally hanging there. But there are hidden bonus stages which you need to shoot in the right location to access. They're generally worth hitting up because you can grab yourself, and the first one's right here, just shoot. It'll appear, and then you just jump into the go area. And we get to do one of two mini games. There's two in every single stage. And the first one is just shoot these capsules as they drop down. They'll drop items, you go over and grab them. For the most part, I like to stay in the middle. This lets you focus on pretty much everything to the left. And speaking of the items we're picking up, let's go to Blaze for an overview. Alright, let's talk about the items you will find in Darkwing Duck. First, for 100 and 500 points, you have the diamond and the gold bars, respectively. I guess you could make the argument that gold is 5 times more valuable than diamonds, but it's all just points, so none of it's all that valuable. Next, we have the 2 different heart totals. We have the small one, which will recover 1/4 of your life, and then we have the full heart kit, which will top you off. Next, we have the gas replenishment. First, the small gas worth 1 measly gas. Don't even go out of your way for this one. But if you see one of the big gas pickups, this is worth 10 extra shots in your gas chamber. I guess 3 shots if you're using the arrow gas, which you should be. And finally, we'll talk about that in a second. And finally, you have the 1-up Darkwing Duck doll. There you go, the items of Darkwing Duck. Yep, look out for those 10 gas refills. Those are the ones you want to prioritize, so you can fill up your gas meter. I have to be honest, I never watched Darkwing Duck when I was a kid. I think I tuned out when that one came on, and I was more of a Chippendales Rescue Rangers, even DuckTales. There's the other hidden spot right there. You need to go down the bottom route to access it. But I don't remember the whole gas mechanic, I guess is my point here. So, in this particular minigame, you want to stay on this middle hook, never push down. Every time you jump, hold up, because the only way to open these capsules is to hit them with your cape. So yeah, generally I want to stay right in the middle, and then just do this jump move every time one drops. And we can situate or reposition launchpad left or right to grab most of these. They're pretty generous with the range, as you can see. Sometimes the items it looked like a bit outside, but generally they'll give them to you if they're just in the general vicinity of Launchpad. Just jump into one of these hooks and you'll automatically grab it. Be very careful not to jump too soon and bang your head on the scaffolding there and pull this to drop down another platform for ourselves. Very much looks like a Mega Man game right here, you have to admit, if you're familiar with that series. Which, if you're watching this walkthrough, I'm assuming you're familiar with Capcom's flagship platforming series. We can block this very similarly dressed duck right here. Pull up our cape with up and block his projectiles, and then get those shots in immediately following that. Let that slug pass to the right, give him a shot. You'll see a lot of enemies drop items, so we can stock up on gas or health if we want, because enemies generally will respawn. So plenty of opportunities to stock back up on items and such. I like to do this one at range so that we have plenty of time to react to his shots. We got our first boss. Let's throw it to Gary.
It's Scary Gary's Boss Beaters. Alright, the first boss we're taking on, Quacker Jack. Prioritize dodging the banana peels from above, and then it's a better rule to stay behind the boss, chase him, and get those shots in. Number 1, most of all, do not get cornered. React accordingly. Watch out for those banana peels. Not too difficult if you're paying attention. You'll take him down before too long. Good luck.
Good call, Gary. Yeah, Quacker Jack is actually one of the more difficult bosses, and if you're going left to right in the levels, and this is your first level, we're starting off with a difficult one here. A lot of mental gymnastics, I think, is the best way of putting it, as you're dropping down, going up, and avoiding banana peels while avoiding Quacker Jack simultaneously. Every time we clear a level, we get our point count right here. Get an extra life every 10,000 points, I suppose it is, but life shouldn't be too much of an issue. Again, working left to right, we're going to go after Wolfduck here. I don't want to go here, but I suppose it's our job. Thank you, Launchpad. I'm glad he's a capable pilot in this game and in this series. He must have gone to flight school between this and DuckTales. I don't know, I think Fluff has some information on that. The first bonus stage here in the second stage is very early on. Just jump up there and shoot to the left. Once again, we're going to stay in the middle here to grab these items. Again, I'm just prioritizing the large gas replenishers, the 10 spots. The ones are barely worth going out of your way to collect. Same with the points, we're just looking, there's a nice 10-1 right there. We can see our gas count by switching to our weapon with select. But right now we have not picked up the arrow gas, which we'll bring in Blaze to talk about in just a moment. Be careful with these banana peels. They won't hurt you, but they'll stun you, which you see right there. They'll leave you open to taking damage. If we're patient with these guys that pop out of the ground as there's the arrow gas right there. Make sure you grab that. And unfortunately, it's not a case where we can carry multiple. You can see it takes 3 shots and does quite a bit of damage. Again, Blaze is going to talk about that. But yeah, it's not a case where we can hold on to multiple types of secondary guns at once. It replaces your one gun. Don't worry if you've taken some damage. We got a health replenishing kit right there. Just keep climbing here. Kind of getting some lightning gas or thunder gas there. Like that term. I like the arrow gas here to when we're forced to move forward there and we got these dangerous enemies ahead of us. Yeah, getting some Bionic Commando vibes there. This kind of has some Needle Man from Mega Man 3 vibes, if you will. And we have another bonus stage which we can only access using the arrow gas. So let's take out this turtle and we'll shoot to the left and to create a platform. And here to talk more about the guns of this game, here's Blaze.
Alright, now let's talk about the weapons you will find in Darkwing Duck. The first 2 of these cost 2 gas every time you fire 1 shot off. The thunder gas shoots 2 small lightning bolts at 45-degree angles.
The heavy gas shoots one shot which hits the ground and moves left and right. I don't care about either one. It's all about the arrow gas, which does double damage. It costs 1 extra gas, so 3 per shot, but totally worth it. It attaches to walls as well and makes a platform. You can grab onto it and access a few other areas you wouldn't normally be able to access. But there you go, the weapons of Darkwing Duck. Arrow gas is my item of the game. Look out for it. Hold on to it like the Briggs note said. Cherish it. It will get you out of a bind in this game.
Thank you very much, Blaze. You can see we used the arrow gas right there to create that platform and get to that next bonus stage. Obviously don't need to hit the bonus stages, but they're very useful in keeping our gas meter topped off at 99 so that we can use our arrow gas gun without worrying about running out of shots. So it's nice to be able to use it liberally, as we mentioned in the Briggs notes, whenever we want. Certainly going to avoid that. Don't need to grab another balloon. This one will last us all the way to the right. We have a couple extra lives up there which we can get using our arrow gas. Gotta shoot this guy in his little, looks like a Mega Man health replenisher. We can also grab onto the bottom of the arrows, which is handy. It looks like a mini health restoration power-up from the Mega Man universe. Yeah, it definitely feels like they just had a little bit of a stage left over from a Mega Man game and just, like, I don't think we can legally or in good conscience put out 10 Mega Man games in one calendar year, so we better start repurposing some of these levels for other games. Let's just fall back on that lucrative licensing deal that we have with Disney. Work it in there. We got too many health kits right here. Just make a little platform here if we want to avoid these shots. And let's go back to Gary.
Boss beaters. Wolfduck. I like to use the arrow gas as I do for most bosses in this game, and as every boss it takes 6 arrow gas shots. Make sure you have enough distance between yourself and the enemy when you fire the shot for it to actually count as an arrow gas shot. Otherwise it'll just be a normal shot from your gun. So make sure it's an arrow when it goes through them, but jump over the box and get 2 shots in. Only when the boss is small, when the moon is covered by the clouds. Then they move left and right. So you can always get 2 shots in. Repeat this twice. On the 3rd time, you want to switch sides because the boss is going to jump over you. And then just basically do the same thing. Get 2 shots in. You'll take him down. Not too difficult.
Good call, Gary. Thank you very much. I forget if this was mentioned, but we need to make sure that when we use that arrow attack, that it's actually the arrow. If you get up close and shoot them, it's just a normal shot, essentially. So got to make sure there's a little bit of distance for the actual arrow to be seen to come out, to do the extra damage that only the arrow gun can do. We have another, yes, we know you're Darkwing Duck. We have another stage right here where the bonus stage is very early on. We just jump to the left here and shoot to the right as we hang. We have another bonus stage. Again, that guy's going to be in his office having a nice sandwich. Guess he's the Commissioner Gordon of the Darkwing Duck universe. That's fine. Every now and then you get a 1-up. That's nice. That alongside the plus 10 arrow gas is what we're looking for. Almost back to 99. Again, it's just nice not having to worry about, is that going to make it there in time? It did not, no, unfortunately. But still. Plenty of bonus stages in this game to go around. And it's nice that the arrow gas lingers a little bit, as you can see right there. If we have an enemy we can just duck there to get that enemy to go over top of us. If we have an enemy who's up against the wall and we can shoot through them like we did there, then we can get double the hits. And if we go through this way, we can grab some extra loot. Absolutely not required. That alligator enemy is straight out of... they're being very generous with the 1-ups right here. We got a duck here. Grab on. Straight out of the Rescue Rangers game. Alright, be very quick about ducking here, and I like to sync this up so that we have that bottom platform more or less right beneath us in case we do take damage. We'll drop down onto the safety of that lower platform rather than falling to our death. But carrying on, we can pull these cranks to get a little bit of temporary light here. And while we're battling through here, let's bring in Fluff to learn our first Fluff fact about Darkwing Duck. Fluff?
Darkwing Duck is yet another example of nearly a dozen games which came from a successful collaboration between Capcom and Disney, the latter of which licensed many of their properties out to Capcom to make games on. There were so many Disney licensed Capcom games in the late 80s and early 90s for the NES that Darkwing Duck belongs to a special subset of games based on the animated shows of the Disney Afternoon, a syndicated, regular animation block consisting of over a dozen shows. Capcom packaged Darkwing Duck along with DuckTales and Rescue Rangers, plus their sequels, and Tailspin as part of the Disney Afternoon Collection, a popular game combo pack featuring classic titles for then modern generation systems in 2017. In terms of design, Darkwing Duck is about as Capcom as a game can get. The platforming elements, level selection, level design, music, animation, gameplay, basically everything about this game just screams Mega Man. Still, this formula, along with the addition of the ability to hang from objects and block projectiles with your cape, made Darkwing Duck a well-received game for critics and players alike.
Good call, Fluff. Thank you very much. Yeah, as I said, I tuned out generally. Maybe that was homework time when the tailspin, and so here's the next bonus stage. Note those little kangaroo guys, which are very similar to the DuckTales kangaroo enemies. Yeah, generally switched off when it got to the tailspin Darkwing Duck. It was sort of the second hour in that 2-hour block at one point in the early 90s. But yeah, it was very much DuckTales, Rescue Rangers. I like that first hour. Maybe some Turtles whenever that was playing, but otherwise, yeah, it was time to hit the books. Maybe it wasn't even my rule. Maybe it was more of the parents. But anyway, looking pretty good on our gas at the moment. It's just safer to take out some of these enemies with the arrow gas at this point. Don't risk it. And yeah, they will jump whenever we take a shot. Just be ready to jump accordingly, or just ignore this one altogether. He'll stare you down, but he's not gonna do any damage. I kind of like this narrow window to make this transition here, otherwise you get hit by the spikes and you fall down into the drink. One of the few ducks who can't swim, unfortunately, Darkwing Duck. Suppose that's the trade-off. Most ducks can swim, but most ducks don't fight crime. This is the other way around, but top off our health as we're coming up on the next boss here. Give ourselves a little extra room, so we got this croc chasing us down. Gary?
Boss beaters. Alright, Liquidator. 6 arrow gases once again. Very easy boss, just step to the side to avoid water when he fires it out of the ground. And duck. Or you can jump over the boss and to avoid those shots. I like to jump and go over because if you duck, sometimes he'll stop right over top of you and then the water will come out and you can't move to react. But 3 shots in, each time he pops out, you'll take him down. Not too difficult.
Good strategy there. Thank you very much, Gary. Yeah, bosses aren't too much of a handful in this game, so they reset the 3 stages. Now we're headed into the woods. The forest here to take on Bushroot. Definitely getting Gutsman, Woodman vibes. Woodsman. These flowers are kind of annoying once you get in range or start shooting at them. They will continuously launch at you. Just let these dogs go right over top of you here. And if you put enough distance between yourself and the flower, they'll stop taking shots at you. Not an instance where we can take them down with 1 arrow gas either. They have a bit more HP. So note that the birds here, once they start flying, they've committed to a direction. We could generally take them out before they even take off with a couple shots from our normal gun. Got the first bonus area of this stage right back here. See if we can't top off our arrow gas here. If I was close to or at max for my arrow gas, then I would probably ignore these stages altogether, but just again, the arrow gas gun is such a difference maker in this game. Makes a lot of these stages, a lot of these enemies a lot simpler, so that's why we take the time to stop off. Then, obviously want to show you all of the bonus stages to give you the complete Darkwing Duck walkthrough here. Annoying bit is unless you've hit a checkpoint recently or you're near one, they start you back at the start of the stage again, so backtracking a little bit here. Definitely tell this is a Capcom game from the music. This sort of has the diner stage or casino from Rescue Rangers a little bit, sort of that vibe to it. I just get that bird to commit to go in one direction. Thankfully the power-ups drop on these vines here instead of just dropping off to the bottom. And as we're still catching up here, let's go back to Fluff for another Fluff fact about Darkwing Duck.
All of the bosses are based on characters from the animated series Darkwing Duck, with the sole exception of Wolfduck, who is the odd duck, Wolfduck, out in being an original character created specifically for the game. Despite this, Wolfduck got a little love in the form of an appearance in the acclaimed Joe Books comic series based on Darkwing Duck, which debuted in 2016.
Yeah, I think if you had all of the names of the bosses of Darkwing Duck here for the NES, if you had them all laid out and you had a choice of which one sounds like the one they added to this game at the last minute, it's definitely the least inspired name of all of them, so if we're going purely by that, the actual creators of the show were a bit more inspired, but it's nice that, he got a little love later on in that comic that Fluff mentioned. We have a tricky jump here. It kind of sucks you back. You want to get as far right as you can before you hit the, I don't really know how that works, but they really don't want you to get that health kit right there. You have to be right at the very edge. Thankfully, there's no pits where you can't see that would lead you to your death. That would be kind of cheap, but if we go over here, we get to this second bonus stage for this area. You could probably guess that it was there. Otherwise, it's just a dead end for basically nothing. Pretty obvious that they were hiding something there. Definitely could use a couple 10 spots for our arrow gas at this stage. Or a single. I mean, at least make it 5, you know? It's barely worth moving for 1. There we go. Got it at the last second. 96. We're in pretty good shape. Don't mind it here for these birds. Anytime there's platforming involved and we just want to get enemies out of our way. The upside of being sent back here is we get a shot at redemption of trying to make this jump this time. Let's try getting a little bit farther. There we go. Didn't need it that time, but grabbed it nonetheless. Shoot these cute little mice in armor in the head. Take them down with a couple shots. Then note the arc that those birds take when you give them a shot. But coming up on the next boss now, let's go back to Gary.
Boss beater. Bushroot. 6 arrow shots will get it in once again, but yeah, just time those shots when he transitions from the bottom to the middle. After a hit, you just want to run to the opposite side, avoid those projectiles. Not too difficult. You generally have enough time to move as he's jumping up before the projectiles start coming out from the hand, but not too difficult, Bushroot, if you stick to this strategy.
Good call, Gary. Yeah, those shots don't even have a chance at touching us there. When when you get to the far side. We'll be patient. We'll do the drop down right. Oh, alright. I ducked and hoped for the best there, but it worked out. Just a few more stages here in Darkwing Duck for the NES. We should have probably good 9 lives or more at this point. And picking up a lot of those Darkwing Duck tokens. Megavolt and his henchmen. Let's go there and arrow gas them around. How about that? And this is sort of Dive Man meets a few other stages. Got the first bonus stage up on top of this platform here. It's hard to not compare every other platformer from Capcom to Mega Man games, especially when it looks and sounds a lot like it. I do appreciate, though, that there's a lot about this game and a lot of Capcom's platformers which make them stand out. The gameplay, the mechanics, things like that. But let's go back to Fluff now for some interesting facts about Darkwing Duck, the show.
We talked a bit about the game. Now let's share some fun facts about Darkwing Duck itself. The idea for the series was inspired by 2 separate episodes of other popular Disney afternoon cartoon DuckTales, which saw Scrooge and Launchpad parody a superhero and James Bond respectively. The latter episode, F.O.W.L Duck, was so popular that Disney execs immediately wanted to spin the character off into its own series before they learned that the Broccoli family, who owns all James Bond related trademarks, indeed own the rights to the 00 name regardless of the spelling. As such, they focused on the superhero angle and loaded it up with references to classic comic legends from The Shadow, Batman, and many more.
Yep, pretty cool. Things you might not have picked up on if you were watching the show when you were, 7 years old, but nonetheless, very cool. Yeah, a lot of these enemies, you could see them. I think those guys in particular were maybe in Little Nemo the Dream Master. That's what I was trying to think of there. I'll stop. We got magic carpet ducks, got genies, got, I guess, those little chipmunks or squirrels or whatever you want to call those. Got their own little magic carpet or shoes. We got the next bonus stage right up here. Sorry to bother you, Darkwing Duck. Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle of trying to save the city right now. Can't we just maybe hire someone else to recover this stuff? As they're transporting it through the sewers here. Pretty clever, I might add. But yeah, this is the safest way. I always find that if you try moving left or right, it's very easy to, as you're trying to go for the items, you lose sight of where the next hook is, and you fall and drop out prematurely. So we just stay right here in the middle, get 2 of those rows, let them come to us. Generally how that goes. Can't shoot those lamps until the genie comes out, unfortunately. Thankfully, these ducks on the magic carpets go down with 1 hit. Didn't quite have enough in his magic shoes or carpet or whatever he was rocking there to get to us. Just ignore that one, and yeah, we're gonna get hit right there. There's a lot going on in the corner. Should be more or less topped off on our arrow gas at this point. We have a health recharge right there. Grab it before you drop down, otherwise you gotta use an arrow. But next boss, Gary.
Boss beaters. Alright, Megavolt. Use your arrow gas. Once again, 6 shots will do it. Just stay hanging in the middle, jump to avoid his shots when he fires them at you. Otherwise, just time your shots when he's jumping up or dropping down on either side of you. 6 shots does it. Not difficult.
Nope. Just a simple jump. They didn't put a whole lot into the bosses of this one. Don't require a whole lot of work on our parts. That's fine. We'll take it. We're coming up on the final normal stage here. An even 60,000 points right there. Moliarty, I like that. Much more clever than Wolfduck. What do we call this guy? He's like a werewolf and a duck. Wolfduck. I think Wereduck, honestly, would have been the better title, but to grab this to get the ring to come down, and we have our first bonus stage hidden right here to the left. You know the drill by now. We're down to 75, so we could use a couple of these 10 spots to fill us up for the final stretch of this game. We're being cheap right here, just giving us the points. You know what we want. Like the burglars don't know what the good loot is. And yes, by the way, let's absolutely acknowledge that these look like Pokeballs. I probably should have said that at the very start, but there you go. Let's get back to Fluff now for a few final Fluff facts about Darkwing Duck.
Here's a few more fun facts about Darkwing Duck. Darkwing Duck was the first and only Disney Afternoon series to not feature any existing classic Disney characters. That said, there are a number of serious overlaps with the DuckTales series, like namely that Launchpad is a central character in both shows. Despite this, American animator and creator of the Darkwing Duck series, Tad Stones, maintains that the two series take place in separate universes. I guess that explains why Launchpad is a capable pilot and sidekick in Darkwing Duck, rather than the goof who's always crashing planes in DuckTales. The Darkwing Duck series also featured a sprawling list of top-notch voice talents, including seasoned voice acting vet Jim Cummings as the titular character, and none other than Homer Simpson voice actor Dan Castellaneta as villain Megavolt.
Thank you very much, Fluff. Yeah, it was sort of the dawning of the golden age of voice acting. The late 80s and early 90s. Grab this one up if we careful with our jumps there. Just the basketball foxes or whatever those are meant to be right there. Getting caught in the crossfire there. This looks a lot like that earlier stage that we took on that I likened to Needleman. But that's fine. Music sounds very similar too. I'm not sure. Is it the exact same music? I don't know. I'm assuming they came up with original tracks for every single stage in this game. I mean, there's only, 6 stages? Plus the final level. Hate wasting the arrow gas like that with a couple whiffs. There's a good example of us getting a little bit too close when we use the arrow gas, and it just counts as a normal hit, so. Again, you want to make sure you give yourself a little extra room as we get the final bonus stage here in this penultimate level. One last opportunity to top off our gas levels here. And yeah, I got a lost sight there. Got a little greedy, but if nothing else, I've demonstrated firsthand how, yeah, if you chase the items themselves rather than just focus on jumping, never move left or right, then that's when you drop and you miss out on some additional items, but is what it is. And this is our first life here. Been working on a no-hitter so far. I think we have a kit coming up before too long here, but we're gonna have to do some careful jumping here. We get close enough for him to throw his head at me, but far enough that these arrow shots are gonna actually take. I don't think that first one did for the full damage. There we go. I don't know about you, but I definitely play a lot tighter, and not in a good way, when I'm down to that final hit point in any game. You got 4 health or max health, whatever the game has, then you know, you're playing loose, you're feeling good. But yeah, once you're down to that last bit of health, you clam up. And I missed an opportunity to arrow gas right there. To platform my way up to that. Hopefully Gary's got a good boss beater since we can't go back down. Alright, Gary. Hope you got a good one for us. Penultimate boss? Who we got, Gary?
Boss beaters.
Right, Moliarty will play on Moriarty, Sherlock's arch nemesis, but 6 shots once again gets it done. At the start, you want to drop down very quickly, get 2 shots in on him, return to the top, shoot out the light, 2 gas shots or 4 regular shots will take it down. He'll jump up to fix this. As he does, drop down and do the same thing to the bottom light. When he comes down to fix that bottom light, just get 4 arrow shots in, you'll take him down, stick to that strategy, it's pretty easy.
Without taking a hit, good call, Gary. Thank you very much. That could be one of the tougher bosses, actually, if you let it get on top of you or you don't know what to do. Located the hideout of F.O.W.L. Let's go there and finish strong. Yes, Darkwing Duck, after 6 stages, and possibly dying on top of that, we know you're Darkwing Duck. Enough already. They give you chances to grab pretty much all of the guns at the start of this stage. In case you haven't grabbed the arrow gas yet, head on up there to grab yourself one. Definitely the one that you'll want in this final stretch. Mind the cannons, we can duck underneath of them. Avoid that damage. By the way, there is a bonus stage. If we take out this top duck and shoot, jump up and shoot, there's a bonus stage. We're going to skip it, but because I don't want to go back to the beginning of the stage again, but that's where it is. And then we have one more, which I probably will do, because it's probably good to stock up on gas with at least one bonus stage before we finish this one. That one's coming up. I just wanted to mention that as we get a new enemy here near the end of the game. Always nice to see they're not just recycling enemies completely at this point. And there's a lot of enemy recycling, but also a couple new enemies here and there. You get a lot of shots in, one after another. You can take out those big birds before they come at you. And we have to be very careful dropping down here. There's our second bonus stage here, and I definitely need some help at this point, so we'll stop off. And the good thing is, once we come out of here, it'll drop us right back where we hit this bonus stage, so those are the best kinds. And getting our health back here. There we go. Exactly what, had a little mental lapse there and dropped the, was focusing on health and dropped the plus 10 gas. That's alright. We don't need that much to finish out with Gary's boss beater. We should be in good shape with the 50 plus that we have at this stage. Gonna look like Donald Duck a little bit there before he goes all Terminator on us. Just shoot when those little pups drop the, or toss the barrels at us to knock those down. Basically the benefit of inflaming and turning those into Terminator ducks is just that they commit to starting to move. You can get them off their little platform, which is necessary, like as is the case here. Just get them out of the way. Get them into a much more predictable move set. Just a bit more platforming / hanging in this stretch here. This is a difficult one to avoid, actually. That's how you gotta do it. And we're topped off on health. They're being generous with the gas right here. We should be in pretty good shape. Can't get him to commit. Don't want to pick up one of those items by mistake. And we're coming up on the final boss now for Darkwing Duck for the NES. Let's go back to Gary.
Boss beaters. Alright, Steelbeak, the final boss in Darkwing Duck. So you want to come in from the bottom right to take out both pods, and then quickly climb up to get to that top left hook, then just keep firing to the right. You'll take out the pods and that little shield protecting Steelbeak. When it's down, he'll drop down, the pods will stop, and then just hang on that bottom middle hook and hit him with the arrow gas when you get those opportunities. When he has this little shield up, you have to wait till he runs by to hit him in the back, but 6 shots takes him down, and just like that, you have beaten Darkwing Duck. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Gary. Yeah, this can be a very confusing and difficult battle. At that first part when those enemy/projectiles just keep coming down at you. But there you go. Good work, Gary. Excellent work to all of our TAs today. We foiled Steelbeak's plans. Definitely looks kind of like the Fat Cat frame or what have you there at the end of Rescue Rangers. There he goes. We ride off into the sunset or sunrise. It's very Mega Man 2 ending right here as he walks back. Or I guess a lot of the Mega Mans, he just kind of walks back home. You think Dr. Light could at least arrange some travel for him. I guess he got a train in that one game, but... And then a little slapstick comedy there at the end with Darkwing hitting pothole or some debris in the road and probably dying. Very dark ending, actually. Darkwing ending, how about that? It was right there for me. Took me a while to put that together, but that's our time this week. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to enroll in this class. We do one of these classes every single week. We'd love to have you aboard. Please click that like button if you don't mind. It really does help us out to make future classes for you. And leave a comment. Did you ever play this game? Were you a Darkwing Duck fan in general? Unlike me, just never gave it much of a look myself, but that's our time. We'll see you next week in the same spot for next week's class, right here on Video Games 101. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and comment on this video, and click subscribe if you haven't already, as this seriously helps me to keep making great content for you. And check the description of this video to see what song is playing right now.